Every year on June 12th, as the days lengthen and summer unfolds, the world pauses to observe the World Day Against Child Labor. It's a day recognized globally, a moment for reflection and action. This is deliberately not a day of celebration, with joyous festivities and carefree abandon. Instead, it's a call to action, a powerful and urgent plea for change. It serves as a stark reminder of the millions of children worldwide who are tragically robbed of their childhood, their innocence and their future, all by the cruel reality of forced labor. We mark this day, year after year, to shine a light on a global injustice that often goes unnoticed, hidden in plain sight. An injustice that thrives in the shadows, away from the public eye, in the dark corners of poverty and indifference, where vulnerability is exploited. It's a collective promise we make to every child, a solemn vow that childhood is a fundamental right, not a privilege reserved for a fortunate few. This day urges governments around the world to rigorously enforce existing laws and strengthen protections. It calls on companies to clean up their supply chains, ensuring ethical practices, and empowers communities to protect their most vulnerable children from exploitation. It challenges each and every one of us, regardless of background or location, to critically question where our everyday products come from and how they are made, and to fearlessly speak out against any form of exploitation we encounter. The specific theme may change slightly each year, adapting to current challenges, with some years focusing specifically on the dangers of agriculture, while others highlight the often overlooked issue of domestic child labor. But the core message remains consistently the same, year after year, that child labor is a profound betrayal, a deep violation of every child's inherent potential and their right to a future filled with opportunity. June 12th stands as a global beacon of hope, drawing much-needed attention to this critical issue and inspiring meaningful action on a global scale. Let's all pledge to use this important day, to educate ourselves further on the complexities of child labor, to actively support frontline organizations dedicated to eradicating child labor, and to initiate conversations that truly matter within our own communities and families. The fight against child labor is undoubtedly a long and arduous one, a marathon, not a sprint. But every single step we take, no matter how small, brings us closer to achieving a world where every child is finally free to learn and grow, to play without fear, and to dream without limits. This is not just another date, easily overlooked, on the ever-turning pages of the calendar. It's a powerful day to renew our collective resolve and strengthen our commitment. Every action, no matter how small, truly counts and makes a difference. Together, united in purpose and driven by compassion, we can and we must end child labor for good. The World Day Against Child Labor was born from the International Labour Organization's century-long fight for social justice. In 2002, the ILO created this day to focus global attention and galvanize action against child labor. Laws and conventions are vital, but real change needs a movement, one that unites governments, employers, workers, and civil society. This day is a rallying point, a declaration that child exploitation is unacceptable anywhere, anytime. It highlights the plight of child laborers and celebrates progress, sharing stories and strategies worldwide. Since its inception, the day has grown. Parliaments debate, schools campaign, communities march, and the media amplifies the message. The ILO uses this day to release critical data, fueling advocacy and policy. The history of June 12th is one of growing awareness and alliances. It's a promise. We will not stop until every child is free from labor. The world is watching, and the world is acting. In the fight against child labor, ILO Convention numbered 182 stands as a global milestone. Adopted in 1999, it demands the immediate end to the worst forms of child labor: slavery, forced labor, armed conflict, prostitution, and any work that endangers a child's health or morals. This convention is clear and urgent. These abuses must stop now. Its adoption signaled a united global commitment to protect the most vulnerable children. Countries worldwide ratified it, making it the first ILO convention to achieve universal ratification in 2020. Every government is now legally bound to act, and citizens can hold leaders accountable. Convention 182 is more than law. It's a shared promise to fight for every child's right to safety and dignity. It provides a framework for international cooperation and action. This is what we can achieve when the world unites for a just cause. The fight continues, but the foundation is strong. Child labor is a global crisis, a deeply entrenched problem that affects every corner of our planet. It's a harsh reality, that deprives millions of children of their fundamental rights and their chance at a brighter future. Today, over 160 million children are trapped in its cruel grip. These aren't just statistics. They are real lives, real dreams being crushed under the weight of exploitation. That's nearly 1 in 10 children worldwide, a staggering figure that demands our immediate attention and action. Each one of these children has a unique story, a narrative of stolen potential, dreams deferred, and opportunities squandered. The problem spans every continent, knows no borders, and respects no culture. While the highest numbers are concentrated in sub-Saharan Africa, the issue is far from isolated to one region. It is present everywhere, lurking in the shadows of global supply chains and local economies. The majority of child laborers, approximately 70%, are engaged in agriculture, toiling in fields instead of learning in classrooms. These children often work in hazardous conditions, exposed to dangerous chemicals and backbreaking labor. Nearly half of these children face dangerous work, jeopardizing their well-being. This threatens their health, stunts their development, and ultimately steals their future. For 2 decades, significant progress was made in combating child labor, but recently the numbers have started to rise again, a deeply concerning trend that demands immediate course correction. This is a devastating setback, threatening to undo years of hard-won gains. Poverty, conflict, and inequality are fueling this reversal, creating a vicious cycle of exploitation. While boys are more often counted in labor statistics, the hidden domestic work performed by girls is just as damaging, often overlooked and undervalued. The youngest among us suffer the most, with over half of all child laborers between the ages of 5 and 11 years old. These are not just numbers on a page, they are individual children, each denied their right to education, safety, and the simple joy of childhood. The scale of this crisis is immense, a challenge that can feel overwhelming. But it is not insurmountable. We have the power to change this narrative. We must act now, with urgency and determination, before more childhoods are lost to the shadows of exploitation. The world's children are counting on us to protect them, to empower them, and to ensure they have the opportunity to thrive. Child labor is not about chores, it's a cycle of deprivation with lasting scars. The first casualty is education. Long hours at work mean children drop out or fall behind, trapping them in poverty. Their health suffers too. Children are especially vulnerable to injury, illness, and toxic exposures. Imagine a child in a mine or a factory facing daily dangers no child should endure. The psychological toll is severe. Abuse, exploitation, and trauma leave deep emotional wounds. Child labor robs children of play, discovery, and the simple joys of growing up. It violates their rights to education, health, and protection. When we allow this, we fail the next generation. The loss is not just personal, it's a loss for society. But these wounds are not inevitable. With action and resolve, we can heal them. Every child deserves a safe, joyful childhood. Let's make it a reality. Ending child labor is a shared responsibility. No one can do it alone. Governments must enforce strong laws, invest in education, and provide social safety nets for vulnerable families. Quality education and social protection are the best shields against child labor. Labor inspectors must hold exploiters accountable. International organizations like the ILO and UNICEF set standards and support national action. NGOs and community groups work on the front lines, rescuing children and supporting families. Businesses must ensure their supply chains are free from child labor. Transparency is key. As consumers, we can demand ethical products and support responsible companies. As citizens, we must raise our voices and demand action from leaders. Parents and teachers can educate children about their rights. No one is powerless in this fight. Change happens when millions take a stand. Together, we can say, not on our watch. In 2015, the world adopted the Sustainable Development Goals, a blueprint for a better future. SDG Target 8.7 calls for the end of child labor in all its forms by 2025. For the first time, there was a clear deadline and a global commitment. This target links child labor to poverty, education, health, and justice, showing that progress in one area fuels progress in others. The 2025 deadline is here, but the goal remains unmet. Child labor numbers are rising, not falling. But the existence of SDG 8.7 gives us a powerful mandate to keep fighting. We must hold leaders accountable and push for urgent action. the dream of ending child labor is not over. It fuels our determination for the years ahead. Every child deserves a future free from exploitation. Let's keep the promise alive. The COVID-19 pandemic was a devastating setback in the fight against child labor. School closures, job losses, and deepening poverty forced millions of families to send their children to work. For many, it was a matter of survival. Over 1.6 billion learners were out of school at the pandemic's peak. Those without access to technology lost their education entirely. Many children who left school to work may never return, locking them into poverty. The economic fallout hit the poorest hardest, pushing more children into hazardous work. The pandemic exposed how fragile protections for vulnerable children really are. Our strategies must now focus on supporting families, getting children back to school, and providing remedial education. The shadow of the pandemic is long, but with innovation and compassion, we can recover lost ground. The fight is harder, but more urgent than ever. The path to ending child labor is clear, a path paved with dedication, understanding, and unwavering commitment. It's a journey that requires us to look beyond immediate gains and focus on the long-term well-being of our children. But it demands action from all of us, a collective effort that transcends borders, cultures, and ideologies. We must stand united in our resolve to protect the most vulnerable members of our society. We need strong laws that are comprehensive, effective, and designed to protect children from exploitation in all its forms. Enforced in practice, not just on paper. These laws must be more than just words. They need to be actively and rigorously enforced to ensure real change on the ground. Governments must invest in labor inspectors, providing them with the resources, training, and support they need to effectively monitor workplaces and identify instances of child labor, and ensure justice for exploited children, offering them rehabilitation, support, and a chance to rebuild their lives. Justice must be served to both the victims and the perpetrators. Education is the most powerful tool, the key to unlocking a brighter future for children trapped in labor. Free, quality schooling keeps children safe, providing them with a nurturing environment where they can learn, grow, and develop their full potential, and builds their future, equipping them with the skills and knowledge they need to succeed in life and contribute to their communities. Remove barriers like fees, which prevent many children from accessing education, and invest in school meals to keep kids learning, ensuring they have the nutrition they need to focus in class and thrive. Global cooperation is essential, a united front against a global problem. Child labor crosses borders. It's a complex issue that requires a coordinated international response. So must our solutions. We must work together to develop and implement effective strategies to combat child labor worldwide. Companies must ensure their supply chains are free from child labor at every stage. Are child labor free? Prioritizing ethical practices and the well-being of children above all else. With real transparency and accountability, allowing consumers to make informed choices and holding businesses responsible for their actions. Wealthier nations must support, with financial and technical assistance, developing countries in this fight, empowering them to implement effective programs and policies to protect children. Ultimately, this is everyone's problem, a shared responsibility that we cannot ignore, a test of our values and humanity, a reflection of our commitment to creating a just and equitable world for all children. Let's transform outrage into action. Let's channel our anger and frustration into meaningful change. Demand change from our leaders, from businesses, and from ourselves. Make ethical choices as consumers, as investors, and as citizens. And support frontline organizations who are working tirelessly to protect children and end child labor. Be the voice for the 160 million children who are trapped in child labor, who cannot speak for themselves. Let us amplify their voices and fight for their rights. Together we can end child labor and create a world where all children can thrive. Every child deserves the chance to live a life free from exploitation and abuse. A safe, happy, and free childhood, a future where they can reach their full potential.